That's too close to yours.
No.
Standing up.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by notice sent to Asbury Park Press, Two River Times, and Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Laura, I have a quick question before we start. I mean to ask this every time we read the sunshine statement. Aren't they called the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, or no? Good question, right? Okay, so you have a homework assignment now. All right. All right, you can do the roll.
Mayor Portman,
Here.
Councilmember Bonatakis. Here. Councilmember Cassidy is running a little late. Councilmember Facey Blackwood. Present. Councilmember Forrest.
Present.
Councilmember Janone
Present.
and Councilmember Triano. Here. Good form, sir.
Thank you. First off, we have here's Councilman Cassidy rolling in just a little bit late. Welcome, David. You didn't miss anything?
He's here.
We have a proclamation honoring Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in Red Bank. Whereas the civil rights movement of the 1960s has profoundly impacted the course of American history and continues to shape the direction and debate of our society. And whereas one of the great leaders of that 20th century movement is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose dream is no less inspirational and important today than when he first expressed it more than 50 years ago, stirring to action Americans of every race and creed. And whereas even with the gains of the civil rights movement over the years, there are many goals and needs that must be pursued to continue our commitment to achieve justice in our society, including a commitment to economic justice in the face of increasing disparity between rich and poor. And whereas as we look forward to the future with optimism inspired by Dr. King's legacy and informed by his wisdom and vision, let us rededicate ourselves to keeping his dream alive and be reminded that we are united together as one community. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, on behalf of the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim January 15th, 2024 in Red Bank as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and encourage all of us to recommit ourselves to the advancement of equality and justice for all Americans and to the full realization of Dr. King's dream. In witness whereof, I appear and to set my hand this 11th day of January 11th, 2024. Well, okay. He asked me to do it, so I'll do it. Okay, we have some awards to give out. First of all, we'd like to thank all of those who took their time to decorate their houses and entered the Recreation Department annual Holiday Home Decorating Contest in 2023. Big shout out to the students from the Red Bank Middle School and Charter School for assisting us in choosing the top 3 homes. I was impressed overall with how many decorations I saw.
Yeah.
Throughout the town. But here are the top 3 winners. First is the Chippendale family, 57 Elm Place. I saw Ryan today at the high school, said he's not going to be here to accept. So I've written a speech on his behalf. No, he did ask me to accept on his behalf, which I'm happy to do. And I'm happy to just throw it in the car and drop it off on the way home. Next up, we have the Cohen family, 32 South Street. If you've ever been by the Cohen's house, whether it's Halloween,
Yes,
or
Halloween.
Christmas time, I'm convinced that you can do nothing else except decorate your house around the holidays. So let's give you your basket. They all the same? Huh? Yeah.
How does it work? You point, you choose. Make sure you put it out there.
Hi.
All right.
Oh.
Let me get a picture, Mayor, not
Oh, yeah,
pass.
picture with
Parks and Rec will want this.
the lower suite here it is.
Look at me. Thank you. One more, one more. Yeah, so loud.
Is your house the one that has the zombie hands in the window that move around at Halloween? The South Street people, did you,
You have the zombie hands, is that what you said?
Oh, yeah.
is that your house?
Yeah.
Oh, my kid was obsessed with it. I had to go to it like 5 times. I was like, they're gonna think this person's in front of my house, like, over and over.
And also, we have at 34 East Street, Place the Lau family.
They were trying to get out of the windows and forget.
Congratulations, guys. Wait, let me give it to you guys. Heavy.
Cancel.
Heavy is good, right? That's right. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congrats. There, we'll get another.
Picture of you guys?
Turn around.
Might put on the.
Who are we doing first? Let's plan this.
I'll
Look at
go.
Ben first. We'll look at Ben first.
Thank you. Big teeth, chins up. One more. Nice, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Very nice.
All right. All right, we are, have a motion to open the floor for public comments on agenda items only.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Public, the floor is yours for agenda items only. Yes, come on up, Tom. I guess over there's a microphone. Can you just state your name and address into the mics for the people following along at home?
I'm Tom Hanley, the Events and Marketing Manager with the Red Bank River Center. And I'm here tonight on behalf of our Executive Director, Bob Zuckerman, and everyone at River Center. We would like to thank the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council for the ordinance making the Broadwalk a permanent seasonal pedestrian plaza. The Broadwalk has proven to be an overwhelmingly popular seasonal attraction. What started off as an emergency measure to allow businesses a chance to survive the COVID-19 pandemic has become a warm weather destination, allowing Red Bank businesses and Red Bank in general to compete with beach towns. By making the Broadwalk permanent, you have erased uncertainty, allowing our downtown businesses a much greater opportunity to plan for the warm weather months. River Center is excited to unlock the potential of this public space for businesses both on and off the Broadwalk. We have a number of initiatives planned, including partnering with our downtown businesses to get food delivered from off-Broadwalk businesses to the Broadwalk at our Broadwalk Community Tent. We're also going to be offering new programming, including dance classes, yoga classes, exercise classes, and game days. And we are very proud to announce a new initiative with Fresh Markets to bring a Thursday night vendor market to the Broadwalk, which will allow us to offer items that are not currently available in Red Bank. Our goal is to really unlock this space and find its true potential, which, while it's been an amazing opportunity so far, we believe there's much more we can do, and we cannot wait to do it. So thank you so much for erasing uncertainty, for creating opportunity, and for giving us this chance to really unlock the potential that Red Bank has as a warm weather destination. Thank you so much for being great representatives of our downtown community. That's all. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Mr. Poku.
And Council William Boku, 90 Bank Street. Just one more.
Once more to the mic, please.
William Boku, 90 Bank Street. Mr. Mayor, I have material that I have for you that will allow you to follow my brief presentation. Yeah, I approach.
Of course.
I am addressing agenda items. Section 7. Seven D, resolution 24-19 and section 7M 24-. I'll start off by addressing 24-19, which basically pertains to the ADP and tax, property tax. Basically, there are about five municipalities in Monmouth County that do not use the ADP. The ADP, you have heard me speak about it in the past, assessment demonstration program, which basically does the assessment of property taxes. January 15 is the deadline for petition of appeals for property tax. And what I presented to you is basically something that shows that the ADP is suspect. What happened last year, the NAACP encouraged some of our property owners to file a petition. And some petitions were stipulated, and the ADP did right with them in the sense that when a property is valued properly and is accepted by both the county board and the property owner, that assessment is supposed to stay in place for 3 years. And you can see that the one of the property owners, 123 Bank Street, has been done right. Whatever was valued has stayed, and for 2024 is going to stay the same, and then it will be the same for 2025. However, for something like 35 Cedar Crossing, even though the county stipulated a value, that did not change. And the assessment has gone up again this year, and I approached the assessor, and the assessor says that there's a probability that that person might have signed a waiver, but at any rate, it doesn't look right. Something has gone awry with that. So I would be expecting that maybe Mr. Mayor, I might make an appointment with you one of these days and try to go a little bit more further if council agrees that we should do that.
You may, the quickest way maybe to just be having this conversation with council here, because I'm sure. What's that? Yeah. Let's, I'm gonna have.
What are you saying? This, the
What's that?
taxpayer entered the stipulation and then the assessment went up the following year?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And you're saying the Freeze Act should apply?
Excuse me?
You're saying the Freeze Act should apply
Yes.
under Judge Sundar's decision? I understand the issue. I can take this to the tax assessor and find out,
Okay.
but sitting here, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I can take this.
I'm basically putting a bug in your ear
Yeah,
that,
without putting the, like, I'm not gonna say the address of the person's name you gave us, but I pulled them up on mod 4. And I can see that the assessment went up from what the stipulation says, so I could find out.
okay,
In relatively short order, because I think they would have to appeal again
okay, yeah.
if it's not a mistake
Right, right.
in 4 days, so.
Right, correct.
I actually think it's due on Tuesday because Monday's a holiday, but
Right, right. And anybody else that wants to do it, I mean, I have the forms and I can guide you through how to do it. Okay, so that's for that issue. The second issue is about the lease of public property. And I'm basically bringing your attention to the difference between fee simple ownership and a lease. The borough does own the property that it is leasing. But when it comes down to property rights, as far as going to the middle of the street on adjoining properties, there is actually ownership. And the borough does not own those properties, they have easement. So I'm bringing that with reference to ordinance 675-1 and 675-1B. Last meeting, I promised Mayor and Council that I was going to bring an action against the town, and it has happened. There is an action in Chancery Court, as we're speaking, for 675-1B, and there's also an action already pending in appellate court for 675-1. Well, there are many arguments that have been posited to the courts. And if you do recall, when you were getting ready to pass that ordinance, I was asking that maybe you hold off a little bit whilst we have a little more of council conversations and discussions about it. 5 minutes at time here to try to sway the council is not enough. Councilwoman Facey Blackwood, you saw me, facilitate a meeting where an attorney for the other side was speaking. Mr. Cannon, you were there. I did not restrict what time that person has, and they could put forth every argument that they wanted. We don't have that here. So the only vehicle that is available to someone like me is to meet you guys in court when we don't see eye to eye on certain issues. There are some glaring problems with 675-1 and 675-2. As we can see, if you go through the pictures that I've given you, the first one shows a trailer on public lands as defined by your 675-1 ordinance. Which means that the borough itself is not able to follow its ordinance.
Which, just in case the photos are,
The order.
the one behind the fence here.
Right, so that is the what you call recycling center. You have a trailer sitting there unhitched. The second one is a trailer right here on what you call the borough property. That, you have that? Okay, now, if that trailer was hitched as the ordinance requires, I don't think vehicles will be able to pass through our parking. So you can see where there's a need for a trailer to be unhitched. You go out there to 7-Eleven, you try to park a hitched trailer on there, you're gonna cause a problem. You try to drag a trailer through McDonald's after a hot day's work, you wanna go out there and grab a little sandwich, I don't think you're gonna be able to drag a trailer through that. This one here, I believe, would perhaps interest Councilwoman Trigiano. Where is she?
Right here.
Okay. Yeah, this is DPW. They live in trailers there. Okay, and they're unhitched. And they're on public lands. The next one here is an unhitched trailer. The street. Okay. And then you have at the recycling center, an unhitched trailer. So the point is, we're now in court, okay, and all of these arguments are going to be presented in court. We need to rethink those ordinances. We also have to think about an ordinance that says that when it snows, you can't park on the streets in Red Bank, whether hitched or not. And there's a place on public lands as defined by the ordinance where you're supposed to be able to take your trailer and go out there and park it until the snow emergency is over. When you get there, I think it would be prudent to unhitch it. Otherwise, other people are not going to be able to put their vehicles on. So we need to rethink this. Now, Councilwoman Facey Blackwood, you are head of a commission to think about change of government or whatever. I believe that it's time for us to have a commission to think about the ADP and see whether it's really serving this community. Because I've explained to you that what the ADP does is removing Black folks from Red Bank through overtaxation. So we have an ordinance there about an overpayment of tax, but it doesn't state what block and block number. So anybody looking at this does not really see what happened with that. And I believe I will be coming over to the clerk or something to do an OPRA to find out which block and lot that is receiving a refund and overpayment. I thank you very much for listening. I hope that we might be able to talk a little bit more offline, so we don't have to resort to the courts to resolve simple disputes.
Thank you, Mr. Poku. You know, you're always welcome in my office.
I will make an appointment.
Mr. Poku, before you go, so you gave me 4 properties. 2 of them, the assessments kept the same for 2024. So
Right. For
Thank you.
123. 123 was done right. Krista and
Yes.
but the others.
I think I'm gonna, like I said, I'll give these back to you. I don't want these people
You
to.
can keep them.
Okay.
I have a copy. Whatever you have, I have.
The other 2 I'll take to the assessor, and
Right.
as you know, since we're in court so much, I have your email address and I'll email you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Anybody that needs assistance on doing their property taxes, contact me.
Anyone else like to comment on agenda items only? Yes.
Good evening, Alan Hill, 64 McLaren Street. Just really a couple of questions on the introduction of ordinances and one of the resolutions. The bond ordinance for Red Bank Station, which says pedestrian improvements, which close to more than 3/4 million. Do those plans actually exist at the moment for the actual improvements in that area? Are they being done for the benefit of the community or?
At this time, we don't have any concept plans for that, but because we were up against a timeline with the grant, we had to put the funding in place.
Will some plans be put forward to the community?
Oh, absolutely.
The HPC ordinance, that's quite a big ordinance just coming in. Is that going to go through with further consultation to either the HPC or the people of Red Bank, or is it just going to be nodded through at the next?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Sorry, it's 2024-03, the HPC ordinance. I assume that's to do with the Historical Preservation Commission. Is that going to go for further, is that available for further comment from the public? Or is it just going to be presented
In the public
at the
hearing.
next meeting and go through on a nod?
Yeah, so there'll be 2 public hearings. First will be January 16th.
Oh.
Is that your review date? First, it's gonna go to the planning board, and the planning board is going to review it all for consistency with master plan. They're gonna deal with the historical element as well, which is their purview, and have a full-on land use board hearing discussion about it. Then it will come back here again because it's an ordinance or a public hearing here before everyone as well. The planning board has changes. We may even have to reintroduce and have another public hearing after that. But there'll be at least 2 public hearings, possibly more if there's changes that based on the historic preservation element that the planning board's working on.
Thank you. I see the River Centre was quite effusive about the reception of the Broadwalk in Red Bank. And actually, I think it's a pretty good idea that's been basically ruined by lack of planning, and lack of investment. But what I want to know is, you're authorising this pedestrian mile on the Broadwalk. Are you going to make any further investment? And particularly that will alleviate the noise and disturbance problems for people who live on streets that lead away. I mean, I'm on one of the streets, and Friday night flight from Broadwalk in the summer is quite hair raising. And I just want to know, is there going to be any further investment on this site? The other place I'd like to see some seriously expensive work, it's going to turn out, as I imagine, is the cross with River Road. Is it River Road there? And being able to actually properly adjust the traffic lights there at the junction with Wall Street to benefit people crossing the road, and also so people aren't sat through the rotation of cars entering from Broad Street. So all I want to know is, are you going to spend any more money on it?
Well,
No.
no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And 2024-05, the ordinance to amend the salary ordinance, it says. In there is a reference to human resources manager. Has that arisen as a new post, or is it filling an extended vacancy? How has this need arisen? How have we managed so far?
So it's my understanding that that position once existed in the borough and for whatever reason was eliminated. My background in human resources recognizes that that is incredibly important to keep our employment liability claims down. I'd like to institute that position in short order because I think it would be effective for the employees here, that we make sure that we're following up on trainings, that we're providing the employees with employee assistance programs, that we're taking a look at policies closer with somebody who's actually a professionalized individual in that field.
Sure. Okay, yeah, no, I can see that. I just want to make sure it's not one of these spitball ideas that comes up again. Without really considering alternatives and what could be done. I can accept that. And my last point.
I'll make the pledge to you to not come up with spitball ideas.
Would you minute that, please? Thank you. Right, and my last point is on resolution 2427, awarding professional services for the investigation work plan. I understand this concerns the site of the borough incinerator. What is the remedial investigation work plan? What professional services do we need?
I actually had a conference call on this today as a follow-up. Basically, in the first 2 weeks of being in the borough,
I realized that that was
a project that needs to really
take off. It looks like it's been obviously an obligation of the borough for quite some time, a liability of the boroughs. And we're coming up against some deadlines too with DEP. So prior to the previous step in the process, VHB was the engineer. We're working with the Monmouth Conservation Fund as well. And they identified VHB as the engineer for that project. This resolution is just putting VHB in place to continue the work at that site.
What's the cost of that? I'm sorry, I haven't seen the actual full resolution.
So it's a professional service. So they bill us as the work is being completed. So I don't have an exact cost for the work plan yet.
Any other public comment on agenda items only? Anyone online? Jim?
Seven attendees, nobody with their hand raised.
Okay.
Before I start, I just want to make sure that appointments are agenda items, or should I wait till the end?
It's on an agenda item on this agenda, but if we want to make an exception, we
Yeah.
No need to make an exception. I just
Yeah, technically, we don't, it's the only, I don't think we have any appointments on the agenda.
We do.
Animal welfare, we do, we have a specific animal.
Right, I don't know, it's not regarding animal welfare, but it's about appointment, so.
Right, technically, that would be at the public comment at the end, which I think
Thank you.
we will get to in short order, hopefully. Anyone else have any public comment on agenda items only? Okay,
Somebody's car is.
Rick, can I have a motion to close the public comment on agenda items?
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes and reports for, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from 12/14/2023?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
We need your roll call for this, sir.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes from 12/14/2023?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Oh.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from 1/1/24, the reorg meeting?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes. Thank you, Lori.
Yep.
Next up, an introduction, 2024-01, amending the bond ordinances 2023-06 and 2023-18 for lead service line replacement for $4,960,000. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a approve on intro by Des? Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Have a roll call, Laura?
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes. Public hearing for this ordinance will be on January 25th. Next up, an introduction for 2024-02, bond ordinance for Red Bank Station pedestrian improvements for $765,000. Can I have a motion to approve on introduction?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Next up, an introduction for 2024-03, the HPC ordinance. Can I have a motion to approve on introduction?
To make such a motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second it strongly. Yeah. Second it, whoever you want.
Roll call, please.
For Christine.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Passes.
As our attorney mentioned before, public hearing on this will be to be determined. This requires planning board review and they have 30 days to complete such a review. Next up for introduction, 2024-04, authorizing the pedestrian mall. Can I have a motion to approve on introduction?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
Roll call,
I'm beaten.
please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Video.
Thank you. And next up, an introduction for 2024-05 ordinance to amend the salary ordinance. Can I have a motion to approve on introduction? I'm sorry, and the public hearing for the overall will be January 25th. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-05 on introduction?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. There'll be a public hearing on that ordinance on January 25th. Is there anything we need to do separately here for the resolutions, anyone, or can we do them on the consent agenda?
Break out the budget.
I guess we can explain maybe just the public auction.
Yeah, I'd also requested the table, side park payment,
Table, which one?
side park payment.
Which one is that?
It's at the pickleball courts, right?
Right.
24-22.
Want to hold off on that?
I do, because of that issue that was raised today.
Okay. You don't think it's just covered under warranty or no?
So we have a maintenance fund.
Table, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to table 24-22. Until it
Okay,
gets figured
okay,
out.
we can do that. There was some,
Suggestion from the manager,
right, a resident suggested that we hold off on that.
the manager.
Was that from?
Well, it was brought to our attention by a resident, but there seems to be some ponding that's going on the court there, so we just want to touch base with the contractor before we authorize the phase 3 payment there.
Okay.
It will be covered under maintenance bond eventually, but
All right,
we want to touch, we have a short amount of time before the next meeting, so
okay.
just could due diligence.
Hold your money,
What's that?
hold your money.
And I also want to, just to explain real quick, everyone, 24-28. Authorizing an open public auction for lease of borough and parking spaces. So we have, a couple of spots that the borough owns over by Biravino. That, the cannabis shop that's there, I believe, wants to, lease them. And the law says, I think, right, we have to have a public auction for those spots in case anybody else wants them. So that's what that resolution is about.
So there's a motion on the floor for 24-22 to be tabled.
Yeah, I made a motion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I second that motion.
Seconded it, okay. You roll call that, or is it? Or can we just,
I
all
don't believe so.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, 2024-22 is tabled for now. Okay, can I have a motion to approve resolution 24-16 through 24-28 without 24-22 on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis? Yes. Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Triano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes. Okay,
Anything for discussion?
for discussion and action, I'm gonna hold off on that. There's at least a couple, I have a couple items on mine, that I haven't had a chance to thoroughly review. But let's jump down to, can I have a motion to open the floor for public comment and question?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Mimone Christian. I reside at 15 Marion Street. I've been a long time advocate and community member. I've dedicated my life work to advocating and making life better for marginalized communities around issues of education, systemic racism, poverty, and affordable housing. I'm a proud wife and mother. I'm the former director of Parks and Recreation, a current Red Bank Regional Board of Education member. And until my term ended on December 31st, I was a commissioner and the elected chairperson of the Red Bank Housing Authority. The Housing Authority is an autonomous commission that is not governed by Red Bank officials. It is governed by the federal government, more specifically HUD, and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Commissioners are appointed by the mayor and council, and the mayor assigns a council member liaison to work with the commission, Mr. Cassidy. Housing Authority Commissioners serve in 5-year intervals or terms, as opposed to other committees such as planning and zoning. They typically serve for 3-year terms. This is because there's such a steep learning curve when it comes to governing housing authorities and learning all of the specific regulations and requirements that are needed to properly govern a housing authority, let alone the specific needs of a housing authority community. It takes at least 3 years to learn what's needed to be known. Years past, the housing authority was not paid much attention to. Previous liaisons held the title, but never interacted much with the commission and never attended meetings. Several years ago, Councilman Michael Ballard realized that the housing authority became dangerously close to being sold to outside developers. So he set out to appoint commissioners that would not let such a needed community asset be stolen from the Red Bank residents. Under my leadership, over the last couple of years, the Housing Authority worked tirelessly to safeguard the Housing Authority for the future, hired competent employees to manage the agency, tirelessly explored avenues of redevelopment for the community, petitioned and secured grants to begin the work of repositioning and redevelopment, updated and implemented governing documents that protected the agency and created and forged guidance and relationships with the highest level of HUD officials. Just so the real work of bettering our housing authority community could begin. So imagine my surprise when midday on December 31st, I received notice from my executive director, Lisa Richardson, that she had just received a letter from the mayor stating that I would not be reappointed. As soon as I received word, I reached out to you, Billy, but it's been 11 days and I've not received a reply call from you since. When interacting with the governing body, I'd always made it very clear that there is no room for politics when it comes to affordable housing in Red Bank. I find it very ironic, so ironic, that the individual that was reappointed to the Housing Authority and to other committees on January 1st were supporters of the Portman-Triviano campaign. I was not a campaign supporter of Portman, and most definitely not of Kate Triviano, but that did not impede my ability to serve the marginalized communities in Red Bank and choose to work closely with mayor and council. I will just come out and say it. This, your act, is politics at its worst. And truly, I know this is Kate Triviano using her influence for vengeance and personal gain and damn the work and the needs of the people. I will say it again. There is no room for politics when it comes to affordable housing in Red Bank. Shame on you, Billy. I had really hoped for more. But what makes the situation even more egregious is that you and Kate went against the direct recommendation of the executive director of the Housing Authority, Lisa Richardson, and the recommendation of your fellow councilman and the housing liaison, David Cassidy. So you slow down progress and you impede growth for political vengeance. This is the same thing that you did to Miss Adrienne Bilal because she did not support you, Kate, not once, but twice. But Billy, again, I'll say it, I hope for better for you, but please remember this, you are the mayor. And Kate, when I think of this term, I think of you. Absolute power corrupts all the time. And currently there's a chief of police that's being investigated, and quite honestly, Kate, I don't know how it's not you. I say this, I have a lot to say when it comes to affordable housing, and quite honestly, this has freed me. I'll be back, and I have a lot to say. And to Councilwoman Janone and I'm sorry, say your last name for me, I don't want to say it wrong. Fonatakis. I don't know you. I've never worked with either of you, and I have high hopes for you. And my request is for you all to begin leading from the front. Because you are elected to safeguard the people. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. And as women leaders, I hope that you have the best interest of Red Bank in mind and not just political allegiance. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else have public comments?
Good evening. Yes. My name is Alpha Reynolds Lewis, and I am now the, I guess you would say the de facto, 11 West Sunset Avenue, Red Bank, New Jersey. I guess I would say now I am the de facto chair of the Red Bank Housing Authority because I serve as the vice chair. I feel like Mrs. Christian has laid out her case in the most eloquent fashion. But as the now chair of the board, I just have some questions for you, Mr. Mayor. Because you were the one that made this decision to not reappoint Mrs. Christian. Is that correct?
Collectively as a council, but.
Okay, great. So was the liaison, Mr. Cassidy, was he consulted? Was the decision was made?
Yes.
Yes. So I understand, Mr. Cassidy, that you told Mrs. Christian that you didn't find out until that morning when the decision was already made. So which one is he?
No, I found out that day officially,
Mhm.
but I want to make this very, very clear. I do support the appointment of Ms. Moore. I do believe that putting a stakeholder, we had a number of people from Cedar Crossing come through here. We were asked to give a voice on that council, and that's what we did, and that's what we did.
Okay.
I do support Ms. Moore's appointment.
But there was
Thank you.
another appointment, Mr. D.M. Jones, that has nothing to do with,
I support Mr. Jones. I don't know him particularly well, but I do support it. He has good references from my colleagues. on
okay,
it.
so let me ask you this, you were the liaison, you
Yeah.
come to our meetings. Did you interact with Mr. Jones at all at any of the meetings?
Everything was through Zoom. I interacted with everybody equally.
Okay, so so.
No, but I would consider my interaction with you, but I'm speaking respectfully. My interaction with Mr. Jones is the same as my interaction with you at those meetings in that
And the same
I-
interaction with Mrs. Christian.
that's correct.
I guess another question for mayor and council, did you all review the attendance records of the commissioners before you reappointed? Did you look at the records? It's public record, obviously.
I did not.
Did you think that that was not an important thing to do?
It did not come up in my, in my discussion, in our discussions.
Any of the other council members have anything to say about that?
I think what I can share here is that the reappointment was not made. And I will tell you that there were actual real concerns that led to that reappointment not being made. I'm gonna say, I don't think it's appropriate to be talking about that right up here because I respect Mamone. And I don't really think that's proper. But to say that anybody up here would do something because it wouldn't help the town or do something because of a personal reason is not true.
Well, I didn't say that. I'm not
No,
doing
no,
that question.
I completely
Could address Mrs. Christian when she was sitting here.
understood.
Right.
Yeah, and I will, she can reach out to me anytime, but
I'm just asking because I'm trying to figure out, as the now chair, what the processes were for this decision. Because it seems like this was just some arbitrary decision, and I completely agree, and I'm not the only one on the council. I completely agree that this was political.
Ms. Allen, you have my cell phone number. You could have called me anytime.
No, I'm addressing this with the whole body. I don't want to just single you out. I'm not here to single you out.
No worries.
I'm here to discuss it with the entire body that made the decision. I would like to understand, as the now chair, and the person whose appointment is up, by the way, at the end of this year. So let's see how that's gonna be handled, because I didn't support your ticket either. So I'm just wondering if the retribution will then come to me at the end of the year. But that's neither here nor there. I'm interested now in processes and how this decision was made, because it doesn't seem like it was a thoughtful decision.
It was. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. My third question, and you brought up the Cedar Crossing issue, so that's a good segue. As far as appointment of someone from Cedar Crossing, who we serve as the property manager for some of you might not know. What you may not know is that the Cedar Crossing and the Housing Authority have a very tenuous relationship, at least, because the owners at Cedar Crossing feel that we are making decisions for them when it comes to their property, which we do not. Our role is very limited and we don't make decisions for their board. Their board makes the decision, but in the past, they have disparaged the Housing Authority as a property manager. And for the most part, I would like to, I guess, ask the attorney, were you consulted with regard to the property management agreement between Cedar Crossing and the Red Bank Housing Authority? And about a possible conflict of interest of having a board member on both boards?
I'm gonna decline to answer. I don't discuss what
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I don't discuss what I discuss with my clients in public, so I'm just gonna respectfully decline to answer.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering, I would like to bring it to your attention. We also have a board attorney who's looking into a conflict because there might be a conflict of interest between having someone on the Housing Authority board and the Cedar Crossing board. So we're looking into that, but I was just wondering if that was something that any of you consider. You can't answer that.
If that becomes an issue, then we'll find somebody else who's suitable and we'll appoint that individual.
Okay. Those were pretty much my questions. And I guess as far as comments, I know no one's gonna admit it, obviously, but this, like I said, council members, the authority commissioners, we feel like this was political. And there's really not much that you have said to me today that has changed that. But I will say, it was best said at one of our meetings last Tuesday. We are, as commissioners, are here to help people. That's our function, seniors and marginalized people. So that's why we were here, and that's why you're supposed to. So the fact that this person, who was probably the best chair this housing authority has had in years, and who has done so much for this authority in just the 3 years, the short 3-year term, than anybody else. The fact that she was not reappointed and that you reappointed someone that doesn't even, although they have housing here, is not even in the state. He's not even in the state. He is someplace else. So he cannot be hands-on with the housing authority. And now we have a chair. I can tell you right now, you didn't consult me. You didn't consult our executive director. You didn't consult anyone that would help you make a proper decision. And that includes you, Councilman Cassidy, that includes you. No one was consulted, because now I'm chair. And I don't want to be chair. I will take on the responsibility and I will do it because I want to serve, but I didn't ask to be chair. And the fact that none of you took this into consideration is, it seems like you're taking a little bit out of the GOP frontrunners playbook. This is like the Red Bank Little Revenge Tour. It's not appropriate. So like I said earlier, my appointment is coming up at the end of the year. Let's see how that plays out. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Pasquarella. I reside at 23 Cedar Crossing. As I introduced myself back in November, I'm the president of the Cedar Crossing Condo Association. In that meeting, I invited all of you out to our annual meeting on December 3rd. And I just wanted to give a brief update on how things have been progressing. So on December 3rd, we were able to hold our elections. And so we added 2 new trustees. So according to our bylaws, we're supposed to have 5 trustees that serve on the board. So we were able to get a full team together, which was very exciting. We were also able to pass the budget. And so we're able to function now. So I think, organizationally, we are stabilizing a little bit. And 2 of the bigger kind of goals that I think that we have as a board, for this year is to continue to facilitate a collaborative and healthy relationship with the borough. And a couple commendations that we've had already was just bringing some attention, right? Winter is coming or is here, and just bringing matters up with Public Works and things like that to just get our community on the radar there as well. Those conversations were positive, so we're very thankful for that. As the board, we have worked closely with Executive Director Lisa Richardson of the Housing Authority, and she's been fantastic for us, and so I really appreciate that and the tireless work that she's put in as well for our community. And so there's continued, growth there, and we'll continue that journey. The other big thing is, obviously we do face significant challenges. And so we have been organizationally stabilized, and we're continuing to learn together as a board and grow, because we're all fellow homeowners like everyone else in the community, so we're learning together. But we're seeking, to stabilize financially, right? And there's big obstacles there. I do feel like we are trending in a good direction, walking in a good direction, but we do seem to have some just things from the past that can be difficult to carry, right, to the future. And so I'd love to continue those conversations as I begin just mulling on, what do we do? How do we tackle this? Because again, we're all learning together as our board there as well. I think that's it. Yeah. Good. So, any questions for me about Cedar Crossing and updates from where we sit?
No, I just wanted to say congrats. It's great that you got it all back together. I know that was a lot of work on your part. I was there and heard the status. That's awesome. Nice job, Chris.
I just want to say it was a pleasure being at your reorganizing meeting. I know Nancy was there as well. The Housing Authority.
I do think that one of the bigger inspirations, that I've found as I've looked at the master plan is the commitment to affordable housing for this area. That seems to be unique and just a great thing in Red Bank, and not maybe as widely championed in this area, as other places. But I do think that Cedar Crossing, we have open units that we would love to fill. Obviously there's processes there, right? With all of that. So I understand that, but we want to be a significant contributor to this community. I do think that again, for a place that's a great place to live, we do have some open doors, to help people with that. And so I'm inspired by that vision for affordable housing. And I think Cedar Crossing can play a key role in helping fulfill that vision moving forward. But we're probably going to need continued just conversation help along the way as we're all learning together. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Yes.
Evening all, Adrienne Bilal, 266 South Main Street. I'm addressing Nancy Blackwood and Mr. Forrest. Remember, I came into the city place and spoke to you about the parking spot on my, that was on December 13th. I have not heard anything from either of you. Do you have any kind of update as what's going on, or what did you do, look into it, or what?
Yes, I had asked if you could send me your email or your phone number so I could give you the update, and I didn't get it, but I did get a response from the acting manager at the time, and he said that he had spoken with you before that about painting that strip, and he said it would be addressed when they paint when they do their regular paintings, update of striping and stuff. So that's what he had shared with me. And I just didn't have a way to get it to you because I don't have your contact information.
Picture that I sent you?
No, I didn't.
I'll resend it to you.
I appreciate if you would.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, but we spoke, if you didn't get it, I mean, I'm in the group, whatever, you could have reached out to me before then, so I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Adrian Palau.
Ms. Malau, if you want to send that to my email, I'll be happy to give you a card,
Yeah, there you go.
so that we can exchange and follow up with that.
Thank you.
Because that's what I'll do. I'll be sending it to him anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
Ms. Malat. Ms. Malat. Thank you.
Yes.
There are two things that I'd like to mention. One is, I want to encourage everyone on the dais to please get close to the microphone.
Oh, okay.
All of you, that would be most helpful. Thank you. The other thing is, with respect to Resolution 2419, which is the authorizing tax refunds for overpayment of taxes. We note that the Two River Theater has received a refund, which suggests to me that they are paying taxes of some sort. And because I didn't know that, I wanted to ask our two major theaters here in town, the Two River Theater and the Count Basie Center for the Performing Arts. What is the nature of the taxes that are now paid by each of these organizations? I guess I'm addressing this to Mr. Mayor and or Mr. Manager.
Give Jim if he's not up to speed on the local tax situation. And I don't know the details of it. I do remember, I know the Count Basie for one had purchased some additional property that they were paying taxes on. I think it was a house on Maple, if I remember. I know they were paying taxes on. And I'm not sure what that refund is for.
Not so much concerned about the refund as I am about the issue of whether our theaters are paying taxes that are commensurate with what they should or need to be paying. So I will come back and ask this question again.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at,
I'm gonna do my homework. Couple things.
I appreciate it. So I'll be back asking about.
Sure you will.
And the pilots that derive from these questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions or comments? No, anyone online, Jim?
Yes.
Hand raised? Yeah.
I'll be bringing Barbara Mary Monahan into the discussion here.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Happy New Year, everybody. Barbara Monahan, 30 Pinckney Road. And I just have to comment that the act of taking revenge, political or otherwise, is a banal act of a stupid person. And Kate is so far from. She's just magnificently smarter than doing something like that. That's been my experience the entire time I know her. Thanks and have a good night.
Thank you. Anyone else online?
No, Mayor, not now.
All right, anyone else in the chambers have a comment? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
I make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, I guess it doesn't matter what order. Do you want to do your comments now and then we'll do mayor and council comments? All right. The manager's report?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, over the last 2 weeks or so, I've trying to take everything in Red Bank as much as I can. And there's a lot going on, which is incredible because it's a great challenge for both myself and the borough at whole. But I've visited with the various departments as a meet and greet throughout Borough Hall here and in our offsite locations, several sites in town. I've gone around with Chief McConnell, Marine Park, DPU, Parking Authority, Riverfront, Count Basie Fields, the east and west side, and the various borough-owned infrastructure. Giving an overview of the multitude of in progress and on the horizon projects, and it's great to see that there's a lot that's going on here to gain a full understanding of the priorities thus far. We conducted a department head meeting. I conducted a department head meeting with my staff on January 4th. So we hit the ground running with that, where we discussed our challenges and our goals within the various departments. I wanted to find a way that I could be a great resource for them and offer them as much support as possible in what they're looking to accomplish in 2024. I've met with our engineers, TNM, CME, Ingenuity thus far in separate meetings to be briefed on project status. Our meetings focused on moving Marine Park forward, the Sunset Avenue remediation forward, the lead service line projects, and discussion on the various road improvement projects that we have coming up. I've met with the River Center Executive Board at their executive board meeting and plan to go to their monthly executive board meetings as well as a member. I've met with Pastor Porter of the Red Bank Affordable Housing Commission and Shauna Ebanks to discuss the status of affordable housing in the borough. So what January will hold for me moving forward, I plan to meet with the mayor and individual council members because I think meeting individually to hear what their goals are is important for me to get a full understanding of what we want to accomplish for the year. So I will be reaching out. It was important for me to meet with the department heads first to see, what they needed going into the year. I want to identify areas for efficiency and areas that are working well. I want to continue my efforts to meet all of our professional services that represent the borough. I want to set the course for Marine Park, the renovation and overhaul. I want to further investigate the DPW challenges that we have there and opportunities to address the infrastructure issues on site there as well. And develop a plan to communicate with the community to increase our effectiveness of public information and give our website a good overhaul. I want to review the structure of our human resources and make recommendations to implement change if needed with a focus on keeping employment liability claims at a minimum through best practices, policy development, and personnel training. So there's a lot to do. And that's really all I want to accomplish in January. But I know that, we have a tall glass here and I'm glad that it's definitely more than half full. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody. So more to come at the next council meeting manager report. All yours, Mayor.
Thank you. Christina.
I'm trying to be very, very close to the mic. If I can read at the same time, because I actually prepared a few words regarding the Historic Preservation Commission and the ordinance that we introduced this evening. I know there are folks who are following along whom this is interest, so I did just want to speak to what the goals are. Trust me, I know how long it is, so it might take some time to digest, and I do, as Greg mentioned, hope that we will see public comment as well in the follow-up meetings that we have, planning board, and then here as well. But as you know, we've been working on this for many months in order to set the Preservation Commission on the right foot. I want to thank everyone who has provided their input along the way. That's residents, both within and outside the historic districts, Shauna Ebanks, our expert legal counsel, and of course, my fellow council members. This new empowering ordinance not only defines all the myriad ways the Historic Preservation Commission can add value to Red Bank, how they should operate, but also, for really the first time, builds a strong foundation on the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Law so the town can maximize the powers and protections it offers. We streamlined the permit review process for owners of historic homes and buildings and outlined a consistent process for designating historic assets going forward. We were thoughtful about how this commission will collaborate with other land use boards and support our master plan, which is our community vision. And perhaps most crucially for me personally, we added strong and tested protections in the event of a proposed demolition. Because ultimately, when we lose a character-defining historic structure, we can't get it back. Make no mistake, our commissioners have a lot of work ahead of them, steering the creation of design guidelines, revisiting our historic inventory. But I do believe that this new ordinance sets us off in the right direction. And I'm excited, hopefully, upon adoption, to see what this group can accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
I do want to actually just piggyback on that. Christina, you've put in just so much work on this and you made it a collaborative process. And now it's going into a further collaborative process. It's going to planning, it's going to public comment, it's coming back here. It's not done, it's not set in stone, but we're at that point where it can get to this next step and you were the driving force behind it. And I just want to acknowledge your hard work and just how much input you took from everybody on it. And I didn't have anything else, but I do want to say to my colleague at the end of the dais, I mean, I understand disappointment, I understand anger, but Kate Trigiano is a person of integrity and I value her. And I don't think that, well, I think disappointment is justified. I don't think that the opinion expressed was what was warranted. I think that she has done too much for this town and for people selflessly to warrant that. I love you, Kate.
We can't hear you. Can you say that again?
I hear you. I don't know if I can. Should I? I stated that I value Kate Trigiano, I respect her, and that I know her to be a person of integrity, and a couple other words, but that was the gist of it.
Thanks, Bill.
Nancy.
Can you guys hear me? I'm back. Okay, great. The EC Green Team is starting off the year by continuing to do their work on Sustainable Jersey actions for their certification. And one thing that I personally do like about with the Sustainable Jersey actions is that we have a really good way to implement interesting ideas and programs that benefit the community, that benefit all the residents. They have excellent actions related to municipal land use, as well as one of my favorite ones that I'm looking at, collaborating with Laura, Shauna, and the Senior Center is health in all policies. So therefore, it's to set if we organize it right, this will create a policy by which when the borough is looking at ordinances and resolutions, that we are considering the health, the safety of all the residents of town. And I think that once Laura and Shauna and Jackie finish their training, you'll probably have a lot of information to share. One of the other things that I do like within Sustainable Jersey is they're doing food. They have a lot about food waste and food farmers markets and ways to get food. And I read in the paper today that in Monmouth and Ocean County, the food bank demand has doubled. And so therefore we have to continue to find ways to make sure that people are fed and find innovative ways, particularly in the summer months, to make sure that maybe people can grow their own. And I know that our community garden is not functioning right now. And that's a DEP issue that I'm not even going near at the moment. But we do have to find ways where people would be able to grow food, even from a terrace or from their window. The Green Fair, the annual Green Fair that's put together by the EC Green Team, they did set a date. It's going to be on Earth Day this year, which is Monday, the 22nd of April. They'll be collaborating with the middle school as well. And our past experience with the middle school, it's a really great draw. The parents love it, the kids love it. And we have a lot of people that come in to share, live more sustainably, but still have a rich life. So I'll recommend that everybody stop by when that event happens. I'm happy to see the YouTube channel for the borough is up. I came across it one day and I saw the planning meeting, the zoning meeting, the council meetings. So I'm pretty sure that as we have a new manager, we'll be modernizing our communications as well. I'm proud of the work done by Christina, Shauna, Greg, and Michelle for the, Greg Cannon and Michelle Donato, the attorneys as well, for the historic preservation ordinance. I think it sets a firm foundation where it is clear what the roles and responsibilities are. And I think, good job. And regarding Kate Trigiano, I do have to go on the record and say that my experience with Kate has been that she's a person of integrity. I've seen her take actions for all the people in town, and there's not one day when she's not walking around town trying to help people. So thank you. That's it.
Councilman Forrest.
So I'll start off with former Housing Authority Chairman's comments. Thank you for taking my call at night. Is it working?
No, you had it on.
Had it on.
Then you just turned it on.
You weren't here at the last meeting, but I meant it very much that I appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done at the Housing Authority. I know the complicated waters that all of you navigated through, the privatization nonsense, the mission of providing housing to people and human beings is nothing is more important. Now, thank you for your service there. Thank you for your service on the Red Bank Regional Board of Education now. And thank you for your service to the borough in other capacities. So I'm saying that now because you weren't here. So I also said to you, and I'm going to say here, that I did struggle with this decision. I did vote, obviously, for the change, but that no way, I'm so grateful for all that you've done and continue to do for this town. We did deliberate. It wasn't casually made, and people will disagree on things. And I don't want to go into any more than that about it. I have great respect for my colleagues up here, and we listen to each other. And I'll leave it at that. And thank you, Mamo. Adrian, I apologize for not getting your problem fixed sooner. I think it was partially caught in the vortex of changing borough administrators. Thank you for coming to the senior center and sharing the challenge in the street. I actually did drive by your street and take a look that day. I think I have a picture actually. Let's see. I wanted to comment on Broadwalk. I did vote yes on the introduction. I do think that while there are some downsides to having the Broadwalk open, the positives outweigh the negatives. And my core view on this is that, unfortunately, I didn't grow up in Red Bank like some of you. But I moved to Red Bank because I want to live in a real town. I used to live in Tinton Falls. You had to get a quart of milk, you had to get in a car. And this is much better. And I view living in Red Bank as part of a system where you have the residential neighborhoods and you have a downtown, and you have to make some, at least my view is you make some compromises to accommodate the downtown, and hopefully they make accommodations for us as well. Because I love being able to walk here tonight. I actually go to the downtown more now that they actually have activities and things to do. You don't have to pay for everything. I do think it is a work in progress. And actually, when things aren't working down there, I appreciate that many of us and residents remind River Center, remind us that we need to do better at picking up trash or putting more content there for everybody, or maybe bringing food that's not necessarily at an expensive restaurant, or having a band there. And when I was there, it was this amazing band playing, for everybody to enjoy. So I think it actually adds to our quality of life very much. I'm sure it adds somewhat to the traffic. Although, even when it's closed, I see a tremendous amount of traffic around town, and that makes me mad. And I look at most of the cars coming through town, and I think most of them are actually people passing through Red Bank, not so much Red Bank residents. But anyway, so I support that, and thank you, River Center, for the fine job in managing that, although there's always room for improvement. My Parks and Recreation report, actually, I'm a liaison to that. The mayor gave that report tonight, and thank you so much for the nice job and the prizes. Also on affordable housing, I just want to report to the council and our new manager, and that I would like us to get maybe some kind of, I don't know, maybe it exists already. I think there is something on our website, some sort of affordable housing thing. I did have a communication with Stacy Berger of the Housing and Community Development Network of New Jersey. And, you know, there is some funding, she says, and things like that for towns to do more affordable housing. And as discussed by many at this meeting, you know, we're fast becoming a non-diverse town, certainly on a financial level. I mean, houses on my street are going for absurd sums of money. And, you know, I really like the fact that Red Bank is a town of many people from many backgrounds. And I'd like it to stay that way. And to keep it that way, we're gonna have to fight for it, because every time a house flips or a apartment building comes down, there's probably gonna be much fewer affordable units built than its replacement. At least I certainly see that on Locust Avenue. And I think I might have covered all my things. Mayor, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mamon.
Hi, I wanted to report on the Animal Welfare Committee. We had a drive over December for food, for cat and dog food for the lunch break. And we got close to 700 pounds of cat and dog food that we donated to lunch break. And someone, Nancy brought this up tonight. Paul, our chair, went to lunch break a couple of weeks later and most of it was gone. So there is a real need in our community for not just food for people, but food for animals. So we're going to try to start doing that quarterly, the drives. The other thing that came out of that is we brought up chemicals that are being put in the lawn that could be dangerous to some of the animals in town. So we've been working with our manager and the green team on that, looking at different boroughs and what they've done to take chemicals off the lawn. Also, we've had office hours this week and we're very busy last Wednesday at office hours, but I think everything got addressed. Thanks to everyone who helped with that. And I think that's it. I also wanted to say that I respect Kate Trigliano and enjoy working with her, and I don't think that she's political. Thank you.
Thank you. There's gonna be a downtown cocoa crawl on Saturday, January 20th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. There's quite an extensive amount of businesses that are participating. There'll be treats, discounts, things of that nature. I think we all realize that it's a symbiotic relationship between our residents and our businesses. They support our kids, they support our community. We're going into one of the slowest seasons for our small businesses. And so if you can get out and support them through the cocoa crawl, that would be much appreciated. I wanted to give a shout out to all the local first responders and everybody for responding to the storm. Red Bank, all things considered, there were a couple of things, but we were truly blessed. We were hunkered down the firehouse, kind of waiting to get out for a call while we listened to the area scanner go off in all directions. But thank you to everybody who's out there. The DPW workers were out there cleaning out the storm drains. It's a lot of extra work. What else did I have? Oh, Broadwalk. This is gonna be the 5th year, right? It was 2020, happened in 2020, happened in 2021, 2020, 5th year. So I just feel so elated that we are able to give our businesses and our residents the heads up and build a real foundation for a strong season this year, to have a manager who is, you know, going to be integral to that and to that communication. It's truly appreciated by me, my family, my friends, to have communal space like that downtown. I was knocking doors and during an election, I met a couple and I asked them, they're your neighbors. And I asked them, I said, what made you choose to move to Red Bank? They're around my age, they're surgeons, very accomplished, have a little kid. And they said the moment they realized they wanted to live in our town was when they were in the Broadwalk. They said during the pandemic, that feeling of community, the vibration that they felt, they said that is when we decided this is where we want to raise our kid. And I truly feel that every time I'm there and my kid is riding up and down it, I'm running into people, I'm sitting out there. It's created a real heart of our community. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. I don't mind if it's going to take me 2 more minutes. I don't mind that because I feel a lot of love when I'm there. And lastly, I'll just state, I'm grateful to everybody who has ever served this town. That includes every single person that's ever served this place. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. I wish everybody well here. You are all my neighbors, and I mean it. You can call me anytime. You can come and knock my door, and I am open and I am here. I love this place more than anything, and that includes everybody in the town. That includes my family. So I just wanted to reiterate that I'm always here. Please reach out and keep on serving. Thanks.
Piggybacking off of what Nancy just was talking about, Bonnie Featherstone from Lunch Break came to my office hours a couple weeks ago. And they're looking to start a community gardening program so we can get people with food insecurity access, not just to packaged goods, but to fresh fruit. So if anybody has extra space in their garden and they want to set up an extra gardening box, please reach out to Bonnie Featherstone at Lunch Break. There's a definite need for it, so that would be appreciated. I just have to say I had a great day in Red Bank today. I got to marry a young couple this morning that live here in town. They've been together since middle school. So that was a really nice event. The highlight of the day, though, was I was over at the high school talking with the Boys to Men group, which were mostly young men from Red Bank. And we had a really nice conversation. You know, they had a lot of questions, a lot of interest. I reminded them to call me if they have any questions, you know, even if they're not voting, I'm their mayor also. And yeah, it was great to connect with them. And I saw when I was walking the dog later, I saw a couple of them. They waved. So yeah, it was a highlight of my day. It was great to be spending some time with Red Bank kids, basically, and getting to know them and hearing their questions and concerns. So yeah, a great day in Red Bank. I think that's it. We have executive sessions. Right.
I wrote legislation on litigation next week.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
You've been in office basically a year now.
Yeah.
And I just, and this is a good meeting for that. You can't please everybody and we don't always agree on everything, Mayor. But I wanted to say how grateful I am that you've taken this up. You came into a complicated situation, right? Smack dropped in the middle. You know, it was challenging time for many, on many levels, political change, whatever you want, people who don't like it, people who do like it. Political nerds and, you know, Nancy and I were at the Charter Study Commission, it's a mess. And you came in the middle of it and became our mayor and are all in, and I do appreciate that your office is open to everybody. I do appreciate that you reach out to us and get everybody here has to say. Can't please everybody, but I want to thank you for your year of service here, and I noticed it. I remember sitting there when you first arrived as a member of the public. Thank you very much, and it was a very pleasure to meet you at your door. I knocked on your door, I think it was the Charter Study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sorry about that, Billy.
sorry, I started probably wrecking your life at that time.
No, it was Nancy's scorn at my door. She couldn't hide it, that I only had a 110-volt charger for my electric car. I didn't have a fast one. She was like, oh.
I was nice about it.
This must take you forever to charge. I think she even went to an English accent. She might have. Anyway, thank you, Ben. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.